So just getting into this immediately, I know it's been a minute since I have posted anything, and the reason why I have been hesitant to post anything is just every time I look at my long list, and it is a long list of videos, I felt very hesitant to actually do anything because of the current state of the country that I live in. I've spoken with a couple friends, and I do feel honestly that like if I were to post something, I think and I hope that through all of my existence, not just now, but through everything that I've done, I have made it clear on where I stand with things. I have made it clear what I think is right with things, but I've literally been very torn for the last couple weeks to just do anything or what to do with this channel specifically. And I really appreciate, and I know a lot of you find, hopefully, joy and a break from watching my videos. And I've spoken with a couple of my friends who have been like, Lauren, people get it. I understand too that this is not a short-term thing, people. These are deep-rooted systemic issues that are not going to be fixed within a week. Like, for things to actually change, I mean, realistically, like, we're looking at like 6 months, like a year. But I don't think I've ever talked about on this channel where in Michigan I am from. So I am from a little place called Berrien Springs. And Berrien Springs, when I say a little place, I mean literally there are 2 stoplights there. There are more Asian grocery stores in this town than there are stoplights. As someone who grew up here, I never really thought about it actually until I left. But Berrien is an extremely diverse place. A big part of the reason why it is so diverse is because it is a religious town. So it is a Seventh-day Adventist, which is what I grew up in, but you have a lot of people from other countries sending their children to the place that I grew up, specifically to go to the Adventist school there. And additionally, you also have lots of people just within America who are trying to send their kids to this school because it's just like a different place and it's still Adventist. And while the school that I went to, which is called Andrews, is far from perfect, and I mean like, I have issues, okay? Something that I didn't really realize until I actually moved is how much the world is not like this. So it was very normal there to have things like food fairs where you literally have all like booths, like you have this big old gym and there's just booths of like every different kind of food imaginable from all different parts of the world, just like there and available, and it's all vegetarian because it's Adventist. Also, you have days where students come in literally dressed in their like cultural garments and literally like walk down the aisles and like get on stage and stuff, and all of this is very normal for the school that I went to. So again, this was not something that I really thought about until I moved away from here, at how many different kinds of people you had all living in one area. And when I look at my friend group, I was like, oh, my wedding pictures could be diversity photos. And because of this, I think from a much younger age than I otherwise would have had, maybe if I had lived somewhere else, I had people and friends who were close to me who shared certain experiences with me. And I really wish that they had never had these experiences to begin with to share. So at like 13, maybe 14, one of my really close friends told me that he got pulled over for walking home the night before. And I remember at that point just being like, what the, like, it was not fathomable to me. He's younger than me, keep in mind that like this kid who I used to make fun of for his rat tail when we were in like 7th grade, just like someone that to me was so nice and so stupid, would get pulled over at 13. I was like, what do you mean you got pulled over for walking home? You were walking home. And he was like, well, I had a hoodie on and I'm black and that's why they pulled me over. And years later, when Trayvon Martin was murdered, it was very much a reality for me of just how much people fear for their children, because I had other friends when we were in high school whose parents wouldn't let them drive home past a certain time. Like I had to drive them home or somebody else had to. And initially I was just like, oh, your parents don't want you like falling asleep or like it's late, like something's happening. And it was like, no, like that, but also in combination, because if you get pulled over and it's past a certain hour, like that's just a heightened amount of danger that I don't have. And I have a friend, one of my best friends in this whole world, who her whole life people have assumed that she doesn't have a father. It is so wild to me that people assume just because of the color of your skin that you do not have a father in your life, but that's what a lot of people, like that's what I'm saying, her whole life, people have assumed that. And whenever they talk to her, they're like, so what does your mother think about that? Or, oh, so you live at home with your mom. And I know that there are a lot of people who are not intentionally trying to be malicious. They are just making those statements and not really thinking about it. But I can't imagine, because it's not a reality for me, to spend my entire existence with people just assuming that I don't have a dad. I was much older when I realized this. Like, I think I was probably like 21, 22, my like junior year of college or something. A girl I know pointed out to me, because we were just already talking about this stuff. I don't remember how it got brought up. Like, we weren't even that close, but we were like friends. But we just sat next to each other in class and like, talked. Pointed out to me, she was like, yeah, no, like band-aids. Have you ever thought about band-aids being made for white people? And that blew my mind, people. She was telling me that, she was like, no, like imagine like every time like you put a band-aid on and you look down, and it's not the same color as your skin, and it's supposed to be. Like, this is just pointing out again and again and again how the world was not made for you. And that, I will only use Hello Kitty. I saw recently Band-Aid did actually come out with a different one, but I will link below. Black-owned company that already did this, people. Anyway, my point with all of these is not in any way to be like, oh, look, I'm such a good ally, I have all these experiences. I'm not trying to say that, because here's the thing. Can we also just make it clear right now? Don't be asking your Black friends right now for like book recommendations and stuff. In fact, maybe just don't be asking them for anything right now. I'm sure, I know there are so many people that your heart is in the right place when you ask your Black friend for books. But here's the thing. First of all, just because your friend is Black does not mean they know what fucking books you should be reading. Like, if they're a really like activist person, maybe, but even then you have Google. Just don't. Like, I know you mean well, but please don't. And like, that's the thing. One of the things that I'm trying to say here is that I think there are a lot of people whose hearts are in the right place. You honestly and you really do intentionally mean well. And there are a lot of people who are like, yeah, no, I see what's happening with like police brutality, and I also can like start to understand that, like, you know, being Black and pregnant is kind of like a health risk because our system is so screwed up. And you might be able to sympathize with that, and you might be able to, in a sense, comprehend that. But what I'm trying to say here is that this stuff goes even deeper than that. And obviously those are very serious things. And I'm not trying to put things on like a scale of what's worse or anything like that. Just what I'm saying is that even in very small actions, such as a band-aid not being the color of your skin, or assuming someone doesn't have a dad, these are issues deeper than I can explain, deeper than I can understand. And this is one of the reasons why it is so important that we do not lose the momentum and the little bit that we have already pushed. Those of you who might feel tired right now, I have two things to say. The first is, imagine living your entire life with multiple microaggressions, how much more tired you would be, which is also something that I say to myself. But secondly, like, we can't let the world go back to normal. People who want things to go back to normal was not actually normal. The normal that I experienced, the normal that lots of white people experience, is not actually normal, and definitely not right for lots of people in this country. So no, we can't go back to normal, because if we go back to normal, that is again more people being targeted for their race, more people having experiences like this where they are called a derogatory term at the age of 5 years old or younger or worse. Like, that's what I'm saying. Again, I'm not trying to put things on a scale, but that's exactly what I'm saying, is that this stuff happens from smaller things every single day to much larger things that can cost someone their life. So no, we are not going back to normal. I've had a lot of thoughts recently on the best way to approach this, because I am going to be posting videos this week, and I would just like to make it clear and just reinforce with a lot of you, because I really appreciate my audience. I really do. Like, I noticed I did not lose followers on Instagram or on YouTube because of this. Like, I appreciate all of you for listening to me and for being at the end of this. And I appreciate every single one of you that has shared experiences, and I am sorry that you've had to go through those in the first place. And that's the thing too, is that it is like, let us make one. Okay, I have one other thing to say. Along with not asking your friends to share books with you, use Google. Secondly, like, it's no one's job to, like, that's the thing, is I understand, and I said this, is that like, maybe if I had grown up in a different area, I would not have had as many windows into someone else's life. I would not have been able to experience in the tiniest of ways how life is for other people. But it is no one else's job to educate me on that. It is no one else's job to educate you on that. It is not on your Black friends to share their life experiences with you and to open your eyes. But you can start listening to more people. You can start asking different questions with the intention to listen and to absorb and to read things and to like look beyond yourself. You know, like, all of us can do more, and I get that, but I am going to be posting more videos. I am, in a sense, going to be going back to normal, but in doing so, and I'm saying this both to myself and to other people, is that just because we are going back to certain elements of normalcy does not mean that we can forget Breonna Taylor or the countless amounts of other people who have had to go through these experiences. I lost it when I watched George Floyd's daughter say, "My daddy changed the world," because while he did, it is also at the cost of his life, and his daughter no longer has a father. So life for her will never be normal again. So honestly, some of y'all need to buck up. I think you get what I'm saying. So some of you, please go get some good sleep. Some of you have some tea, do some meditation, do whatever you need, man. And others of you, go sign some petitions. I will put some below, very convenient. Donate your next takeout money and like cook a meal at home. I got videos explaining stuff, kids. Hope you are all doing as well as you can, and I will see you probably tomorrow.